The name is Myers, Carol Myers. You can call me M. I see you got the message this morning to show up at headquarters. Good for you. As God's secret agents, as members of His Majesty's Secret Service, I'm here to tell you today that evil forces are threatening to destroy the world. Your assignment is to save the planet one person at a time. Now, you may think that that is a daunting task, so let me brief you today. Thousands of years ago, Naaman was a hero, rich and famous, powerful in his land. Naaman was also sick and struggling. He was desperate for healing. Naaman called on God's help. But Naaman was a big man and expected God to work in big ways. Naaman was a mighty warrior and expected shock and awe. God was at work all right, but Naaman was so full of himself he almost missed it. In fact, he would have missed it if it weren't for the Secret Service agents on duty. You have received clearance, so I can tell you this. God had a covert operation going. There were undercover agents in place. The slave girl taken on a raid in Israel. The servants in Naaman's household. To the untrained eye, they looked like unimportant people. But in God's eyes, they were simply flying below the radar and have been immortalized in God's Secret Service Hall of Fame. Now, let me make it clear. God did not engineer a raid that tore a young girl from her home, and God never condones oppression or captivity. God does not send suffering or sickness. In fact, according to the manual, God is continually at work to heal suffering and sickness, working for peace and harmony in the world. But life can throw us curves, and there are twists and turns, and this story reminds us that God can use us in the circumstances of our life as God's agents for healing and wholeness. It is safe to say God uses you where you are if you are willing. Evidence shows that men like James Bond movies because of the gadgets. I believe it. Sort of. I'm here to tell you today that as God's secret agents, you have gadgets. They are not high-tech, they are not flashy, but they are the most powerful gadgets known to humankind. Observe the top agent, Jesus. Like us, Jesus was authorized to act on God's behalf, and our gadgets are identical to the ones He uses. Your gadgets consist of laser beam eyes that break through the hardness of people's hearts and the status quo in order to see the suffering of those around you. You have radar-equipped ears to hear the cries of others. You have been given heat-seeking hands. The healing power of touch has been well documented by our R&D people. You have a voice equipped with an astonishing range of frequency to speak words of hope and healing, forgiveness and encouragement. And you, like Jesus, have a heart that beats with a force that is unstoppable, that of love. Our top agent, Jesus, was on a subversive mission when he healed the leper. Jesus literally snorted with indignation at the way that religious authorities would isolate and exclude an entire group of people. And at great risk to himself, he drew a circle to bring the man in, and at the same time recruited another secret agent for God. The new guy couldn't keep his mouth shut. He told everybody the good news. The boss was pleased, very pleased. You see, this is how God works. God works in ways that are not glamorous. God works in ways that are unremarkable, tedious, and even risky. God works through the simplest acts, through seemingly simple people, using the simplest of material. Take the muddy waters of the Jordan River, for example. You are being deployed to classrooms and to courts, to offices and to farm operations, to friends and to strangers, to hospital offices, doctors' offices, hospital corridors, to nursing homes, to funeral homes, to the streets and to your spouse, to children and grandchildren and the neighbors' children. And so it is imperative that you remember your secret name, Agent 00 Heaven.
Hello, First UMC. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to be in mission and ministry, in your families, at work, in the church, and in your neighborhoods.